What's up, everybody? Welcome to Among the Fence. My name is Aaron. Today we're checking out the new album Pink Moon by Silverstein. This is the 13th studio album from the post-hardcore band and one of the most reviewed bands on this channel. Either them or maybe Era. I'm not really too sure. But either way, Silverstein has had a little bit bumpier ride. A Beautiful Place to Drown was, to me, a little scattered. It felt like it lacked direction. They have a lot of good songs, but as far as like the whole album, it felt like it was all over the place. I didn't really know what they were trying to do. I didn't really know who the album was for. It was just kind of weird. But then 2 years later, they dropped Misery Made Me, which was a slight improvement. It had some essence of their earlier work, which was really fun and exciting, but then it was a little too radio play friendly. Like almost every single song off of it sounded like it could be a single. I didn't like the grittiness of each song though, even though the production was a little questionable at times. I didn't like the direction that they were going in. It made me really excited when they announced the two-part album that is Anti-Bloom and Pink Moon, both being 8-song albums that are about 22 to 23 minutes long. Even with this expectation though, when I did my review on Anti-Bloom, I found it to be lacking, and it left me wanting more, but I don't really blame the short runtime for that. It starts off really strong, but then it loses steam towards the end, which is saying something because it's only 8 songs. So the first 3 songs were really good and engaging, and then once you get to the last 5 songs, it just dips down. It loses energy, and it's not to say that it doesn't have a lot of power and loudness and excitement to the songs, because you have a song like Stress, which is the second to last song on the album, but it just felt less linked together. It felt more like a compilation of songs. At this point, I was thinking that these 2-part albums are actually just 16 random songs that the band has, and they want to release an album, but they don't want it to be 16 songs because it's too long and too many people won't want to listen to 16 songs, so they just decided to split it in half. And that's kind of what we were getting here, just a compilation of just a bunch of songs. And that's what it felt like, but I was still very excited for the second part of this, the missing piece. It felt like something was missing, and I feel like Pink Moon would be that. I mean, obviously that's part 2, so yeah, it is the missing piece. But honestly, the opening track for Pink Moon, I Love You, But I Have to Let You Go, it wasn't very promising, honestly. The first time I heard it, and every time, it's a very skippable track. It's 1 minute and 45 seconds, bare bones, very simple, repetitive lyrics, but again, it doesn't really fit into whatever Anti-Bloom was bringing, and it made you kind of question what was coming next. And even after listening to the entire album that is Pink Moon, you're like, it's just kind of there. Negative Space is pretty much the exact opposite though. It reminds me a lot of something that could have been found on Misery Made Me, with its intense, overproduced verses and its extremely catchy choruses. The hook is so freaking good. The vocals pull you in every single time. The way they psych you out as it goes into the bridge is great, and the breakdown is a lot of fun. And then there's Drain the Blood, which is the opposite, but in a different way this time. This time in the way of songwriting. The verses have some really cool melodies. They're a little bit more mellow. I just wish the melodies were a little bit more prominent, but then the chorus this time around is like a slap in the face. Rory from Dayseeker pops up in the bridge and the breakdown, and while I struggle very hard with the direction that Dayseeker is currently going in, he sounds absolutely beautiful with that drum beat that builds up into the breakdown with the angry riff. It just makes you sad because you realize that Dayseeker could be so much more, but we're not here to talk about them. Then we have the song The Fatalist, which keeps the energy going. It emphasizes a lot of what this band does really well. If somebody came up to me and asked me, what does Silverstein sound like, I would show them The Fatalist, at least, modern day Silverstein. I would show them Fatalist because this is it. It's got a hardcore verse with lyrics that don't hold back. It transitions into an extremely explosive riff, and after the big old explosion and your speakers are blaring at you, you have Shane Todd's fantastic vocals cutting straight through. The lyrics, they're not great. They're pretty basic, to be honest, but it's their enthusiasm that really shines through in this song. That explosion, it just makes you want to just get up and jump around, and they really bring that live kind of energy in this song. I mean, this is Silverstein at just what they do best, I feel like. My only issue with it is, I mean, it is heavy-ish for Silverstein. and it is really fun to listen to, but it is also really, really repetitive. It becomes pretty tiring to listen to after a while. And then we have Widowmaker, which does the same kind of tricks, but it swaps the verses and choruses around. It kind of makes it all sound the same. Then the last three songs kind of all blend together and they sound very similar to each other, especially when you listen to this album over and over again like I did for this review. Since it's such a short album, it's easy to just go through it and get lost and be like, what song am I listening to again? And I felt like Widowmaker was kind of the weakest one, honestly. The only thing that really stands out in this song is like the consistent like breakdown-y kind of riff between each transition. That's the only thing where I was like, oh yeah, I remember what this song is. And then there's the song Autopilot, which is just an absolute treat. The vocals and the riffs take me back to like mid 2000s, maybe early 2010s, somewhere along there. The long, drawn-out, dramatic vocals in the chorus just reinforce this. The same thing happens when Cassidy Pope takes over the mic in verse 2. She sounds brilliant. Her vibe is just so perfect for this song. That kind of pop punk, almost Avril Lavigne, Paramore kind of sound to it. Even like a little Evanescence vibe between the two different vocalists, and it is just fantastic. It's a fun, bouncy track. It basically delivers on all fronts. This is another song where I would tell somebody this sounds exactly like Silverstein, and it's not really their signature sound, but they just still do it so well. I've seen this band live a couple times, and when they pull out their pop punk kind of stuff, it hits just as hard as their post-hardcore kind of stuff. And then there is Death Hold, which it goes back to their more edgy kind of sound. The chorus is catchy, but it's very cliche, and I'm not really that fond of the kind of extreme lyrics of sacrificing oneself for the relationship. It feels a little melodramatic, and it doesn't really give too much depth into the relationship. You're just like, okay, like this person, like it just feels random within the songs. Like it's just a random song about like I would give my life for you, and in very kind of maybe graphical kind of ways. I wouldn't say it's something that's triggering, but it could be for some people. But like I feel like there's no payoff. Like who is he talking about? This album really hasn't been building too much into the relationship. So when we get to this point in the album, it's just like, who, what? And regardless of all of that, I still cannot deny that every time I listen to this song in this review, I was looking forward to it. It sounds so good. You just find yourself singing along to it. It takes you back, has that kind of emo vibe to it. Again, a little early 2000s-ish in terms of the overall atmosphere of the song, just with some newer stuff in terms of production and all that. I always look forward to it. It is such a bop, even though the lyrics aren't really the best. And then there's Dying Game as the closer, which kind of it kind of connects to it, I guess you could say. It's pretty, actually it's very melodramatic. It has the same kind of instrumentation as the intro song, with just a little bit more. It's a okay closing track, but it's just kind of meh, very mid feeling. I actually found myself really enjoying this record, but it did leave me scratching my head at a lot of times. Like I said, the whole feeling of just a compilation of songs comes around. It's not very cohesive in terms of story or themes or sounds, anything like that. There's just a lot of random songs just in different places. I will say though, if you listen to both of these albums, Anti-Bloom and Pink Moon, together, I feel like that's where it comes together a little bit better. Like they don't do that well on their own, for sure. And because of that, I feel like together I'd probably give them like an 8.7, but I got to give Pink Moon by Silverstein a 7.3 out of 10. But I want to know what you guys think. I have a feeling most people are going to love this album because it's just so easy to listen to. Honestly, it isn't very difficult. It's a fun time. There isn't any songs that I would necessarily say are bad. It's just if you're going to do a really in-depth review like this, that's where I feel like it has its weaknesses. So yeah, leave a comment below letting me know what you thought of Pink Moon, what you would rate it, what your favorite song is. Also, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, and I'm very close to 1,500 subscribers. I'm like 25 away now at this point. So yeah, if you're watching this, you enjoy my videos, and you're not subscribed yet for some strange reason, please consider subscribing and ringing the bell icon. That way it helps me hit that goal of 1,500, and it just makes me feel good about myself and my ego, and I don't feel sad about not being at 1,500 subscribers. But anyways, thank you so much for taking your time out of your day to listen to me sit here and talk about music. I hope you have a good rest of your day or night, whenever you happen to be watching this. And I will talk to you guys next time.